from Instagram and YouTube. And we're here at halftime for Georgia and LSU. The halftime score Georgia 35, LSU 10. Now, my prediction for the final score of this game was 34-7. So, predictably, I missed that score, that prediction. But hey, I'll take it. 35-10. Georgia leading over LSU. Georgia just some very unusual plays. I mean, an interception off of the helmet of the LSU player, very unusual. Then the block punt and Christopher Smith waiting for the ball not to stop rocking and then picking it up and going 90 whatever it was 96 yards for a touchdown for Georgia. Very unusual first half. Georgia playing very well. LSU, they're a tough team. Jaden Daniels is having, a very, very difficult time. And hey, Rich Beck from Buffalo, New York, joining us. And I don't know why we have that. Why do we have that noise? Okay, we got it. So Georgia leading. How's everything in Buffalo these days, Rich? Any snow on the ground for you guys right now? I know you had a big snowstorm a while back. I guess there's always snow in Buffalo in the winter, I guess. But Georgia playing very well, 35-10. Let's go over some of them. Barry comes in. How about those dogs? Indeed. How about those dogs? Very good. Excellent first half. Let's see. Halftime statistics. Jaden Daniels, and bless his heart, he is hurting. Jaden Daniels most definitely is hurting in this game. How about Jalen Carter? Sacking Jaden Daniels by picking him up in one hand and raising his finger up with the with the other. Unbelievable. But Jaden Daniels, you gotta admire him. He's hanging in there, playing hurt. He was 16 for 24, 208 yards. A very good first half for Jaden Daniels. One touchdown and one interception. Nussmeier came in. He was 0 for 1. Stetson Bennett in the first half, 19 of 24, 214 yards, and count them, 4 touchdowns for Georgia. Kendall Milton rushed the ball 3 times for 33 yards. Dejon Edwards, 5 rushes, 23 yards. Kenny McIntosh, 4 rushes for 9 yards. Receiving, Ladd McConkey, 5 receptions, 69 yards. Brock Bowers, 5 receptions, 58 yards. Each of those guys had a touchdown. Darnell Washington, 1 reception, 14 yards for a touchdown. And Dylan Bell, 1 reception, 3 yards, and he had a touchdown as well. So Podledzny missed a field goal, got a field goal. So Georgia winning in this game. It's halftime, 35-10. So what do you guys think? Here we go. Georgia playing very, very well. And of course, TCU losing earlier in the day to Kansas State. The first 2 teams to play that were in the top 4 have lost. USC lost last night to Oregon, and TCU losing today, this afternoon, to Kansas State. It looks like Georgia. I tell you, the pressure can get to you. The pressure can get to you, and I think the pressure really it showed when it came to USC and to TCU. Those 2 teams going down, but Georgia holding serve now. Rich says there's no snow in Buffalo, but they have a lot of rain. Jalen Carter. Here's the thing. I was listening to the Georgia feed. I synced up the Georgia feed with my television, thing, and television on screen, and then somebody called me, and I've lost my sync. Anyway, Gary Danielson is behaving in this game. Gary Danielson usually is a homer for everybody but Georgia, but Gary Danielson, he's doing all right. We don't have anything, really, really bad to say about him in this game, which is unusual. I hope 84 is not hurt. And yeah, I might have tweaked a knee, a little something like that. Let's see, any word on Ladd? From what we saw, Ladd had, he fell on his knee and it kind of, I don't know if you can get a stinger in the knee. I don't know if that's the correct way to put it, but it kind of it kind of, it kind of hurt him, and so he was limping a little bit. And Rich, follow Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. Hey, I like that, Rich. We'll have to get together and do a podcast together. So, what do you guys think here at halftime? Georgia winning 35-10. This is the best that Georgia has played now in several weeks. I was a little concerned that first drive. How about you? When LSU came roaring down the track, and of course, didn't score the touchdown on that. Had the block punt, and then the Georgia ran the touchdown back. So, so what do you think on this game? What? Okay. So we have coming up later. So Georgia's winning. They're holding serve. We have coming up later now. This is interesting. So what do you think? Let's talk a little bit about the Final Four. You had USC losing to Utah last night, 47-24. USC's out of it. Or should they be? I don't know. They're out of it, apparently. Got beat pretty bad. Kansas State beating TCU today. So you have those two teams that are out of it. So probably USC will go out. TCU probably will stay in the top four. They might drop down to number 4. So, then you'll have, if Georgia stays, if this score holds and Georgia remains the number 1 team in the country, you'll have Georgia number 1, and then you'll have TCU number 4. That'll put Georgia and TCU in the Peach Bowl in like 28 days, a whole month, for heaven's sakes. But that, of course, is in Atlanta again. So things are looking pretty good for Georgia if this score will hold. So you'll have TCU, and who's going to move up? Probably Ohio State. You might have Ohio State jump in there at number 3. Then you'd have Michigan and Ohio State, and you would have Georgia and TCU. Now, this is all, of course, obviously speculations, but we like to speculate. Barry says, "Go Dogs." I'm with you, Barry. Rich says Alabama's going to go to the playoffs. Okay, yeah, 2-loss team. Alabama, I don't know, Rich. I don't know. Are they deserving of being in the playoffs? Absolutely. Alabama's a good football team, and behind Georgia, they're probably better than any other team that's in the top 4. To be honest with you, who do you think would win a game between Alabama and Michigan? I mean, seriously, who do you think would win that game? I'd just have to say Alabama probably would win that game. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The question is, do they move Ohio State ahead of TCU? I don't know. Here's my gut at the moment. Georgia won. Michigan, and it's not a given that Michigan's going to beat Purdue. Purdue has a way of winning these kind of games. But if Georgia wins, Michigan wins, they're number 1, number 2. I got a sneaking suspicion TCU may stay number 3 despite the loss, because they did lose in overtime. And then you would have probably Ohio State at number 4, and then you would have Georgia playing Ohio State. I don't know. It's going to be fun. We'll know everything tomorrow at noon. Rich says they just love the Tide, which is true. Amber says, "Go Dogs." Katrina says, "Go Dogs." Indeed. So Georgia playing very well. This is the best. We've seen them play in person many times this week, or this season rather. And this is the best Georgia has looked since Oregon, since the Oregon game. Everything seems to be clicking. Now Georgia gets the ball first in the second half. So what you want to do, you want to move down, score a touchdown, kick a field goal, put this thing way out yonder. And, it's Jalen Daniels probably, I don't know if he'll be back at quarterback, but, put this thing way out beyond reach, and then we can enjoy the rest of the evening. And Amber says her dog. Ramos says, "Go Dogs." Okay. Well, we'll take it. Rich Beck, just like they didn't put Georgia versus Alabama in the first round of the playoffs last year. That's true. That's true. There's so many scenarios here, because the committee kind of doesn't like to put teams that have played each other previously in the first round of the playoff. So will that knock Michigan and Ohio State? Will it be Georgia and Ohio State, Michigan then and TCU? I don't know. Now, if they put me in charge, if they call me and say, Brother Chris, we want you to be in charge of this shooting match, we want you to be in charge. I would have Georgia number one. Just on the, a Big Ten team, but just on the strength of their record, Michigan number two. To be honest with you, can I just be really honest with you? I'm such a homer. If I was in charge, I'd have Georgia number one, Michigan number two, Tennessee number three, and Alabama number four. I know I'm such a homer. That's not going to happen. But what a great first half for Georgia. Just what a great first half for Georgia. Stetson Bennett, sharp as a tack. 4 touchdown passes in the first half. 4 touchdown passes, passing for 214 yards in the first half. Again, Jayden Daniels, very good first half, playing on one leg, essentially. Georgia's defense, the secondary has given up some stuff, but Georgia's defense is stiffening. Podlesny, let's see, he was 0 for 1 on a field goal. Yeah, he missed the field goal, didn't he? Yeah, he missed the field goal. So Brett Thorson had 1 punt for 56 yards. I'm looking over the stats here. So now Rich brings up the fact that Homer for life, no Bama. Okay. I know. Stetson Bennett for Heisman. Say, this is what I don't understand. Okay, Caleb Williamson. Williamson, yeah, he's a good guy. He played very well. He was injured last night. I would rather have Stetson Bennett any day than that dude. I'm sorry. The mailman, the milkman, he calls himself the milkman now, delivers. So I'm sorry. Stetson Bennett's just having a very good game. So let's cut to the chase, get to the end here. If Georgia wins this game, they'll be the number 1 seed. They'll play the number 4 seed. 2 and 3 play each other. And I think Georgia, is it a lock? Georgia, if they're the number 1 seed, would play in the Peach Bowl, which is at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So you would have Georgia playing today in the SEC championship, and then in 28 days, what is it, December 26th or 28th, they play that game in 26, 28 days, whatever it is. You'll have Georgia playing in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium again, against whoever they're going to be playing against. College football is fun, and all USC had to do is win. Southern Cal had to win. That's all they had to do. But they get blown out by Utah. All TCU had to do is win. But then they get beat by Kansas State. And now we're in a flux here. Georgia probably is going to win 35-10. You would think Georgia's going to win. Nothing's a lock. But you think Georgia, probably is going to win this game. But then you got, Michigan and Purdue. I'm telling you, Purdue has a way of doing crazy stuff. They've done this kind of thing before in winning games that they had no business winning in. And they have no business probably beating Michigan, but it could very well happen. So we could have all kind of stuff going on. But Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the stadium that we have pictured behind us, is rocking. A lot of Georgia Bulldog fans on hand. Don says TCU is still in. I think so too. I think so too. If they had gotten blown out, it may have been a different story, but they get beat in overtime against a Kansas State team that's a pretty good team, a 10-win team now. So, okay. Well, it's a lot of fun to speculate. So, guys, So far, so good. Halftime, 35-10. We're going to be back with you after the game. Get your comments on the game after the game. So hang in there with us. We're going to go back to the game now. Let's go, Dogs. Let's finish this thing off. Here's what we want to do. Get the ball here to start the second half. Let's go down and score a touchdown quickly. Well, maybe not so quickly. Yeah, let's take an 8-minute drive. Score again. Put this thing way out yonder, beyond any kind of reach for LSU, and get done with it. Rich says it's 75-25 Dog fans. I think so. A lot of LSU fans made their tickets available online, and Georgia fans gobbled them up. So, yeah, it probably is that. Rich says, let's run the ball. And I think Georgia will, but LSU's defense pretty stiff against the run so far against Georgia. Georgia has first half rushing 67 yards rushing in the first half, averaging 5.2 yards a rush, which is not bad. Milton, not bad, with 33 yards, and Dejon Edwards with 23 yards rushing in the first half. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Get ready for the second half. We'll be back with you after the game. Join us. Hey, we'll have a lot of fun talking about this stuff. Getting ready for the Georgia Bulldogs to win the SEC championship game.